Good morning, you beautiful bunch of fuckers, and welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Ruthford. It's Monday, November 17th. Time for some industry insights. Got my co-host here with me, Brent Hutto. We'll get to that in just a couple minutes. It's also a Monday, free for all. Phone lines are open. Jump in and join us, 855-950-3835, or hit that call now button on your app. I know everybody's looking forward to Black Friday. We're going to get an early start. Lisa and the team have come up with something new this year. Every day leading up to the holiday, they're going to have a new special. Some of our favorite brands, no codes, no catches, 24 hours to get the best deal possible. We're going to kick it off today with some good, clean living made simple. 25% off all Primal Life Organics. And you'll grab a free toothbrush when you spend $100 or more on Primal Life. They've got all the great natural tooth powders, pastes, no junk, no chemicals, nothing that's going to kill you. Head on over to the store at letstruck.com and grab yours. You've got 24 hours to do it. All right, let's get started today. Brent, good morning.
Well, good morning, KR, from the Big Easy.
The Big Easy.
The Big Easy. I'm down here where the big Mississippi is, and down in New Orleans at the Trimble Insight Show. And I'm gonna get onto the live cast here. Just 1 second, logging in. But I'm doing good, man. It's a very vibrant show. This Trimble is a major player in the marketplace. They have TMW, TMSs. They bought PeopleNet, which is a big visibility platform. Then they bought AOK, which is the mapping and routing and all that. And they're also building out all these other pieces of the industry. And there's about 1 million trucks that use a Trimble product. So they're a big player in the marketplace. This is good. Yeah, that's a few.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice share of the market. So what's the theme? That's a conference I've never been to. What's the theme? If I were there, what would
the theme? You would hear them talk about connectivity. You would hear them talk about, let's see, I got your video rolling there. Mute. Good, there we go. I like your sweatshirt today. Says, that's your hoodie. I must be cold where you are.
It is.
But the theme, the theme here. Yes, there we go. There's the camera's coming. There we go.
There we are.
Boom. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna put my badge on so I'm at an event. There we go.
There you go.
There's Truck Parking Club. There's my little truck parking guy right there. Here he is right there.
Right.
There you go. So so the theme here is basically for the last probably 6 or 7 years, Trimble has been building a connected platform where they've been either buying or building platforms that they can handle what is known in this industry as end-to-end operations for moving freight. So when you're a big fleet out there, if you own 100 trucks or 500 trucks or 10,000 trucks, you really like to have just like one major service that handles a lot of your capability of moving freight, and that's really what Trimble's been building out. So they're talking about connectivity, they're talking about security, and they're talking about your favorite word, AI. And,
well, you can't help.
I didn't mean to bring it up.
It's unavoidable these days because my thought is that Trimble was clearly ahead of the curve on this. But what they're talking about now is what I believe is going to change just about everything, which is almost instant connectivity between everything and anything, and it's becoming so quick and easy. So you and I, we talked about this last Monday a little bit with Truck Stop developing MCP servers. So really what we have here is a lot of alphabet soup. So it used to be if you wanted to connect to another piece of software, you used either an API for kind of a quick, simple connection, maybe transferring a little bit of data back and forth. You might use what was called an SDK, a software development kit to go a little deeper into somebody's software. Now what's happening is these MCP servers make connecting even faster and easier. And these things with AI now can be written in a couple hours. It's not weeks worth of development time anymore. So you used to have to really think, okay, are we going to put all this development time into being able to connect with this platform or not? And it was a cost thing. Well, that cost is almost disappearing.
Right.
Everything's going to connect to everything soon.
It has. And for scale players like Trimble, who, when you're okay, so now you learn this when you deal with the companies that have scale. Scale means they handle a significant amount of the marketplace.
Yeah.
So when you've got technology that connects that many people, you have to be careful about how you change it. And so changing it can be very time consuming. It can take years. To change it. And when Truckstop went from their old platform to the new microservices architecture platform, and everybody out there in the tribe, when you swap to the sort of the newer, faster, more scalable technologies, you're able to. And it's one thing for your own platform; it creates better security, but it also creates better accessibility from other products to be able to develop into your product. So it's really, really important. But most importantly, it provides flexibility for these platforms. And so, but it can take, it took Truckstop 18 months to do that.
Yeah.
You could probably do it in less than 6 now. I'll just be guessing. Yeah.
Well, and one of the challenges for the bigger you are today and the more complicated your software is, the harder this transition is. Our development team has been telling me for a year, look, we get it. We know that AI is powerful. It's not as easy to use it on our legacy software. And
right, that's the problem.
And we're small. I mean, when you start looking at the size of some of these platforms, you don't just walk in one day and say, oh, we're just going to do everything with AI now. It's a
right. No.
So again, in some ways, the faster technology changes, the more it favors the little guy. And even in a case like this, where these large platforms, some small software companies would have never had a chance of connecting to them. Well, I think that's all going to change.
Yeah, well, I think that it's like this. It's like, think about how revolution changes in any platform. It's not usually by the bigger platforms. It's by somebody small doing something unique. And then the big platform goes, oh, hey, I want that. And they bring it in or they buy it. So it's pretty common in marketplaces to do that, because when you have scale in a marketplace, then you can sometimes wait and see, because you have enough cash and you have enough customer base to wait and see. However, it makes innovation hard. And but when you're small, like when you're a one truck owner operator, a two truck owner operator, your innovation can be fast. So you can change much faster than bigger players can, and bring something new, and then you become a value to whoever you're trying to provide that service to. And on the freight side, it would be to the shipper, to the carrier, to the broker, larger carrier. So, but to me, I agree with you on that.
So let's talk about something else that seems to be, I don't know, maybe changing fast, or we've talked about how confusing some of the markers can be. We don't have clear direction. We haven't had clear direction for several years. There's an awful lot of negative news coming out of FreightWaves these days. Last week, I saw a post late last week, the Cass Freight Index, which I was talking about the week before, now showed its lowest volume since some month in 2009, which was the peak of that recession. And we're back to those kind of levels. I mean, that seems crazy. Where'd that come from?
Well, Cass is a temperature point in the marketplace. So Cass is just for everybody from the tribe standpoint. Cass is and I used to think they were a big data or invoicing system. They're basically a big bank.
Okay.
And so they help process the invoices of about I think it's like between 70 and $75 billion worth of freight spend, but they've just done a really good job of visualizing their data. So I need to dig a little further than that, because I know the Freightways has reported this, that freight was down somewhere between 14-17% or something like that. And I think that's in segments. Now here again, Mr. Ruthford, if you're an owner-operator, there's more freight coming into the spot market, coming into your part of the market than ever before, because a lot of these fleets are pivoting to more dedicated runs. And so more of that freight's coming in to the spot market. We've seen it. I just saw a debate between the CEO of Freightways, Craig Fuller, and the guy who's sort of the head of data for VAT. And he said the same thing. He said, Craig, I know you see that some of the larger players the freight has reduced. He goes, but not in our market. And he means the spot market,
Right.
which is the truck stop and DAT are the two players in that segment. We haven't seen any declines. And so, and it's because things continue to change. And it kind of goes back to your point. If you can change quickly, then take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's no doubt. And we're kind of getting some mixed signals. There's been a lot of markers that say 26 we'll start to see the upturn. We should have a couple of good years, but maybe we have a little bit of pain coming before. I get totally mixed reports from my tribe. I've got some people doing great. Some people say, yeah, it's not fantastic, but I'm not worried. And then other people really, really struggling.
Is that any different than any year?
No, I guess not. But you know what feels the extremes feel different. It feels like the middle's disappearing, and the extremes feel different. People who are doing great seem to be doing really well. People who are struggling have been struggling for quite some time, and they don't see a way out.
Right. Well, and I think that if you're, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So, and this is where I just go back to, you coach this, and I've learned this through you, and I've learned this over the 30 years I've been doing this. Look, if you can change your operation, you may not want to, but if you love trucking more than you love the operation that you're currently in, you're not making the margin that you want, then
look around.
Don't miss the opportunity to and remember, you and I've talked about this, and I learned this from all these money people. They said, because I asked them all, I said, what's the number one thing that companies do wrong when they get investment money? And he goes, they all said the same thing. They all said they don't pivot off a bad idea fast enough because they've got enough money to continue to chase it. He goes, look, if it's not paying off, pivot. Just pivot to, if you're a flatbedder, maybe a different area of specialized is better in the marketplace. Maybe there's an opportunity somewhere else because of the geographic area of the country that you're in. There is always opportunity in a $1 trillion industry.
I agree. Did we talk last week about the crazy GoFundMe story?
We did.
Okay. Yeah. That would still.
The guy basically made a bunch of mistakes and he wants someone else to pay for it.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. Here's another one that has a tiny little tie-in to Truck Parking Club. What could go wrong with this business model? Take over a property with 300,000 square feet of retail space and turn it into a truck stop where drivers are going to be treated like royalty because that's what they deserve. What could go wrong with a model like that? The idea was
I don't know. Not. I know what you're talking about.
the idea was
detail, Kevin.
Yeah, we're going to give drivers a bunch of stuff because they deserve it. Like they shouldn't even have to fuel their own truck. We're going to have full service pumps, and we're going to deliver fuel right to your parking spot if you want. And we'll wash your truck while you're there, and we're going to pay for all of this through premium services, like better sit-down restaurants and chiropractors and banks and on and on. And how could something go Well, I understand how it went so wrong so fast because it was a horrible idea to begin with. What I don't understand is where the money came from, and this one part of the story just totally. I couldn't even. The vice president of NATSO went to this location in the beginning to try to convince the guy what a bad idea this was. This is how the story was written. Except after he saw it,
Oh, really?
he made the statement, this is the vice president of NATSO. After he saw it, he was there to talk him out of it. He said, this is the future of truck stops in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Well, I mean, people
they
will,
didn't make
yeah,
it a
people will
year.
pay for it. That's one thing.
They were one day shy of making it a year. But the other thing that made me crazy about the story is the founder did this, and it sounds like he knew nothing about the trucking industry from what I could gather. He did it because he said drivers deserve to be treated like royalty. Well, I don't even understand that statement, but he also screwed his employees out of pay for months. And he screwed the landlord.
Well, yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
I heard that
Come
too.
on.
Yeah.
Come on, you're being holier than thou with we're going to treat drivers like royalty because they deserve it. But our employees don't deserve to get paid even though they showed up for work.
Yeah, it's I heard a little bit about it, and I just heard that it was. And look, it all comes back to this, KR. You run a business, and I've run businesses, and if leadership doesn't have integrity and character and do the right thing, then they don't typically make it very long. They just don't, and you just got to make sure, because in the end, if you're not taking care of your employees, they are your face to the customer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it sounds like there was so many things wrong with this idea. We had a caller last week that said he was there while it was open. He said it may have been the hardest truck stop he had ever tried to get into.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I guess the entrance wasn't where you would have expected it to be on the property. When he finally found the entrance, it was around the back, and the right-hand turn was so sharp he almost couldn't make it in. Yeah, it sounds like everything about this entire idea was wrong. You just wonder how something like this gets started.
Right. Well, I think that the idea is they were going to build out all these services and everything that was going to be just a really full service place, but I don't think they got there to get all the services built out. You've got to make sure you've got enough time and money. And sometimes people do this, and I don't know why they do it. They go, we're going to open this part. Because trucks need parking for sure. I mean, I know that in spades, but you've promised, here's the thing, and I learned this a long time ago about yours and my good friend, Mike Riley. He said, don't set the wrong expectations with the customer. And this goes to everybody in the tribe. If you're going to work with shippers, don't set the wrong expectation. If you're going to work with brokers, don't set the wrong expectation, because that's what they will require of you in order to do business with them. And so to me, that's I think they just set the wrong expectations. I know they opened it before they had these other services that they were going to be treating truckers like royalty. Now look, let me back up to 1961. And an old legend, notorious guy in our marketplace named Mike Parkhurst. Do you remember that name?
I do.
He started Overdrive magazine.
Okay, I knew the name sounded familiar. All right.
So you're familiar with the Playboy Mansion, right?
Yeah.
Remember back in the day, the Playboy Mansion? Yeah. He did one of those. He did one of those for truckers.
No way.
I'm not kidding. I've got visual proof of it. He had it in his magazines. And he said the same thing. Truckers deserve to be treated like royalty. So he literally had this Playboy type trucker man. I don't know how long it lasted, but not long, because it's just not sustainable. We're in a business to business commerce.
Well, and let's think about something. The one service that is being supplied to drivers has been forever by truck stops. We figured out that there's just not enough revenue I did see an interesting statistic in the story. $22 per space is what it costs to maintain a truck space.
Wow.
$22 a day
about the
per
national
space.
average.
Yeah.
That's what if you park there, that's what you paid?
No, that's what it cost for the stop to maintain that space, to provide it and keep it there. That's a big number.
Okay.
And that's what
It's not too bad. Yeah.
we've always said, is that
What do you mean?
it's expensive to provide truck parking. It costs a lot of money to put in a space and maintain that space. And we also know, and I was shocked by this, was that when there is a solution, truck parking club, there was a big pushback.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that the pushback is totally confused, and they focused on one thing. They focused on taking a space that was free and making it paid. That's what freaked everybody out. But the biggest part of what Truck Parking Club is doing is creating new spaces that never existed before.
Additional. Right.
That's the solution. The solution now there is a partial solution in charging for the space that already exists. And that is, if there's a profit to be made, people will provide more spaces. I mean, going forward, if there is a profit margin in truck parking, which on our traditional model, there isn't. The truck stop gives that space up free and hopes to make it from other things they sell. And yet, what's the second biggest complaint about truck stops? I got to pay $4 for a pint of milk. Well, yeah, that's how this goes. They got to make their money somewhere.
Right. Well, and there's also, look, truck stops are having the same challenges everybody else is. When truckers run less miles, guess what they don't buy as much of? They don't buy as much fuel. All right. So the truck stop makes the honey to the bees is the fuel to be able to fuel the trucks. And so if they're pumping less fuel, they're making less profit because less people are coming in. So they've got challenges too. So if you want the benefit of truck stops and more truck stops, then they've got to find a way to keep their margins because they got to stay open too. It's very expensive to run truck stops. And so they're finding more ways to and by the way, that real estate ain't free. Nobody gave it to them. So they got to figure out a way to if you want that stop to stay there, then you got to find a way for it to stay open. It's got to be profitable.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of miles, that was my other story. Looks like miles are way down.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah,
not surprised. Yeah.
Some shifting around in the people running 125 to 150,000 miles, which is a lot of miles. I mean, that group shrunk quite a bit, and what grew was on the other end of the scale, people doing like 75,000 miles a year. It was like they shifted from the very high mileage to the very low mileage group.
Right. What do you mean? I mean, what when you said they shifted?
Well, so that group that was at 125 to 150,000 miles shrunk by, I don't know, the numbers like 17%, I think. I mean, it was big. Maybe it was 9. But then the group that does between 50 and 75,000 miles, which is really low mileage, it grew by that same amount. So it's like the whole group just shifted down. The group that does over 150,000 miles, which is really rare, stayed right at 9%, which it's been forever. But the whole group below that seems to have shifted down to quite a few fewer miles.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much of a shift that is. Now, were these among owner-operators, and where did you pull this information? If you don't mind me asking.
It came from a CCJ report.
Okay. Would they have pulled that from like ATBS, or would they have pulled it? Yeah. Oh, it's just a survey. Okay.
But this is another thing that made me crazy about this article, and I wish we could figure out a way to standardize our language. In this article, they went back and forth with 3 different terms. Leased owner-operator. That's pretty clear to me. I know what that means. Somebody owns a truck, they've leased it to a carrier. Employee driver. That's pretty clear to me. I know for sure what that is.
Mm-hmm.
They kept using the term leased driver. I'm assuming maybe that's a lease purchase program, but that term is so vague, I have no idea. And they used it a lot, leased driver. Not sure what that means.
A lease driver would imply they're not employees.
Correct. But they also, in the same article, used the term leased owner-operator. So my...
This is in the CCJ article.
What's that?
This was in the CCJ article?
It was. Well,
interesting.
Actually, I noticed it in two articles today. Let me see if this other one was the other article.
Right.
This was about, and this was no, it was in the CCJ article about what drivers want and miles and all that. They just kept going back and forth between those, and they used that term a lot, leased driver. And the only thing I could think is it must be a lease purchase. So they're saying we have leased owner operators, but in a lease purchase, I guess they're using the phrase leased driver. The other article I wanted to talk about today was the fact that we're all kind of looking forward to the fact that we had a lot of drivers with CDLs that shouldn't have had them. And there's been a lot of talk of, as we clear them out of the market, things will get better. Drivers' pay will go up. Rates will go up, except I guess a court has already stopped this.
Yeah, well, and was that in California? Because they had removed 17,000 in California from, I didn't see exactly what category they came from, but it's either going to be ELP or non-domicile. So,
it's a federal court in D.C. has decided that you can't enforce this. So states are going back to issuing these licenses again for now.
Well, that's a mistake. So, yeah, and what was their reasoning? I didn't read the article. I saw the article, but I didn't read all of it.
Yeah, here's basically, it says the D.C. court ruled that the federal government did not follow proper procedures in drafting the new rule and did not articulate a satisfactory explanation for how the rule would promote safety.
That's what I saw, the one part, like, and they went back to the FMCSA default, which was, well, they're not, you can't show that they're unsafe. It's like, wait a minute. Aren't we supposed to have accurate information on licensing for commercial trucks?
Yes.
I mean, the fact that you changed the rule so someone can get a license in that's not a resident of that state means you can't track them. There's safety reasons or reasons why somebody has to establish residence in order for them to get their commercial license. So it's all around safety. So that's the safety issue. So my guess is they'll redraft it and come right back with it.
Well, I hope so. And here's what they cited data. The problem is that we know the data's all wrong. That was part of the problem. We didn't know this was happening. But now what they're trying to claim, the FMCSA is saying that immigrants with CDLs are a mere 5% of the CDL holders. Well, first off, if it's illegal, 5% is a lot. But then they claim it's only 0.2% of all fatal crashes. Well, we know the data's all wrong anyway. And how does this justify anything? One fatal crash by somebody who should never have had a CDL is too many. This is so easy to avoid. Stop giving license to people who can't even speak the language and aren't here legally. But instead, they're trying to justify it by saying it's just a small percentage.
Is there? I guess I'm assuming within the FMCSA licensing that people that are non-residents, in other words, non-citizens, have been able to get a commercial driver's license forever? Have they always been able to be a commercial driver? Is this?
I don't think they've ever been allowed. That's the confusing part. I thought we had rules about this.
Why are we allowing them?
Right.
You don't. Yeah. I thought you had to be a United States citizen have a commercial driver's license in the United States.
And
Maybe I'm wrong, but
I always believed that there was a requirement you had to understand English.
well, that's been since 1935.
Yeah, well,
So that's
a
been a
while.
long time.
Yeah.
Long time for you to get another language. But the idea of you to get a commercial driver's license and drive on the commercial highways in a business-to-business fashion, I think that ability has not always been there. It does. It's just. I mean, I guess I need to go do the research and look to see how long we've been allowing. Good question. I mean, we certainly let qualified people come in our country and do lots of things for work. So maybe commercial driver's license or not.
Hi, I'm Kevin Ruthford. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe or leave a comment below. It really helps us get the show out to more people. If you'd like to get the full show, ad-free, you can sign up with the link below.